This is so heartbreaking right here. Chinese woman begging the Chinese police to cross, out of a blockade in Hubei province. It's just sad. They treat their people so badly. We see so much of this. Just breaks my heart to see that mother, and she can't get her kid over to a bigger hospital because she's tried all these other hospitals and they're just completely full of virus patients that are getting treated. And she can't just go over because the Chinese police won't let her go over. They fear that there's going to be an infection. The little girl's got cancer. It's just sad seeing her sob like that. I can almost feel the pain. I just want to let the victims of China, despite our differences, the United States is with you fighting this terrible disease. Finally, they let them over the checkpoint. And, they call an ambulance. And she's allowed to, leave. And, go. And the ambulance says they check her temperature to see if there's infection. They're not handling this right. Chinese citizens, Japanese citizens, it doesn't matter, what they are. They are people just like you and I. I see cases like this all the time. Chinese PLA police, PLA officers, soldiers, they're instructed to collect people that even have the slightest cold, flu, sneezing. If they don't have even a face mask on, they're detained. I've seen people, detained forcibly against their will, on the subways, and it's just sad, people like that, and it just breaks your heart how people are being treated like this, and and it's like, before the start of the virus, people didn't know anything about the Wuhan coronavirus that came out of, Wuhan. They suspected it could be, from bats. They don't know. And they suspected it could be, from tainted meat at, the Wuhan market. There was a rumor flying around that, because Hong Kong wanted its independence, more freedom, from mainland China, that they, how am I going to say this? That they set the virus off illegally, but it's just a rumor. I don't know if it's true, but it's a rumor that's been flying around. Another rumor, I had heard is the virus was in United States biochemical, Army lab, a Canadian biochemical, biolab, military base, same as the U.S., and it was said that some Chinese, citizens that were from Wuhan were at this biochemical, lab as scientists, biochemical scientists, to be precise. But it was said that, these scientists were sent back to China, and that, the virus, it was illegally, stolen by somebody. They don't know who, but it was set off in, China just to, crash its economy. The first rumor was flying around, the reason why it was set off is because of China. They wanted their freedom. They were flying around our American flag. I'd rather have, Chinese citizens like that, give them visas, welcome to the nation, They respect our flag. They respect our people, Enough of this politic crap, They're people just like you and I. Let them have their freedom, What's the problem, But yeah, I just, wanted to share that video. It's just so sad that people would just do that. It's so sad, and you can't blame people that have the virus. It's not their fault. I mean, it quickly, it spread from one person to the next. I mean, when a virus spreads, it's got to have a reason. The atmosphere has to be just right. The environment that's in it has to be just right. The temperature. Is it, able to adapt to, water supply, air supply? Can it spread through animals? Can it spread through, your blood? The answer to that is, yeah, it can spread through the air, through blood, through water supply and animals. But if it's contained, it's not going to go, if it's contained the right way, and in time, it's not going to spread that quickly. There was, another rumor, going around that the PLA, in other words, the People's Liberation Army Police Department, the officers put a lid on this one doctor, and he tried to warn people about a virus that was loose in Wuhan. Well, what they did is they gave a written list of the crimes this guy was committing. This was the Chinese government that did this. And they sent it to the police to have him sign this. It's almost as if they did the same thing what the Soviets did, during the Russian Revolution and during the Second World War, before the Second World War, accusing people of, crimes and, murdering innocent people. It didn't matter, Well, this is basically the same thing, only they're not threatening to kill him. But what they're threatening to do is to have him detained, arrested, interrogated, possibly tortured. In China, everything is, censored. I know a female friend that lived in China. She's from the Philippines, and, sometimes we keep in close contact with each other, and sometimes we don't. She's from a war-torn province in the southern part of the Philippines. you could say, yeah, she is, you know, I would say, I don't necessarily know, but she said there's Muslims in her, neighborhood and whatnot. I'm not saying that Muslims are bad, but the war that took place there, it just ravaged the whole city that is in southern Philippines, because Muslim guerrillas, they want to form a communist regime in the southern portion of the country. But yeah, she's from a war-torn, you know, province in, the Philippines. It's very, very poor, and she went to China to, have a life. She went there to, gain opportunity, get some money, so that she could do what she wanted to do. She wanted to go to Japan. She wanted to come to the United States to start up her own business or whatever. In the Philippines, you can't do that because the current president there, I was, told he was corrupt and really didn't really care one way or another about, the Filipino people there. Yeah, she's from that area, but she moved to a city in China, Shanghai, which is, I think it's in Hubei or Chengdu area. But she had to recently go back to the Philippines because the virus had spread so quickly. People are automatically barricading their villages. There's no possible way of, even crossing, into a village, because the people had makeshift roadblocks. Well, recently I had heard that, the People's Liberation Army made them, and the government made them remove those makeshift roadblocks. But yeah, it's gotten bad there. And there's another video that I viewed. They took somebody off a street, and you know how just like a dog when they're caught, or a stray dog or a stray cat, whatever, they put them in a cage. I'm not kidding you. They put this person in a cage in, Wuhan City, or Wuhan City. It's in Hubei province. But yeah, they put them in the back of a cage, like they were a dog. And it's like, you got to be kidding me. Are these videos fake? I've been, I have been subbed to Uncle Sam's Misguided Children. It's a news source that, I follow usually. But there's this guy that, is on there. God bless his soul. He's a legal Cuban immigrant here in the U.S. He served, he was in, communist Cuba for 15 years, and he said this country has got to wake up, or we're going to end up just like China. No rights, nothing. People are being drug off a street for no particular reason. All just because they're sneezing, they're coughing, they don't have a face mask on, or they're even suspected of having, any kind of illness. It's not necessarily tested until they get them to a quarantined area, and then still like quarantine them because they're suspected of having the coronavirus. And there was another video that I'd seen. People were being barricaded inside an apartment in Wuhan City. They're just visiting people at the market, and I guess the Wuhan Police Department, there had decided that, okay, that's not going to happen. We're going to have to quarantine you. Quarantine them, they did. They put them in their own apartment. They had a metal bar above the door. As above where the door is, it was bolted. Bolted it to the door, and then bolted it to the wall. And then there was another bar that went down into the floor. And they drilled a hole, and then they put the jack in to put the 2 bolts in. I mean, they were really serious. They weren't letting nobody in or out of that apartment. They posted, I'm not good at reading Chinese or anything like that, but you could almost, see that what they were telling you was it was contaminated, and they didn't want anybody entering, the home or apartment, whatever it was. But yeah, it's just sad seeing that video, that woman and her child, having to beg the police that she needed to go across into out of Hubei province just to go to a bigger hospital to be treated. I mean, this woman's child has cancer. She's got to be more than 10, 11, 12 years old. And, it's so sad seeing something like that. But, yeah, in this country, we've got to wake up, because if we don't, what's going to become of us? What's going to happen next, We're in this so hateful-filled world that, we need to support each other and not, cause so much hate like that. But yeah, I'm hoping that soon they find a cure for this virus. There's, last I seen, updated, because I get updates to my phone as well, on the Weather Channel app. I seen on my phone that there was like 75,000 people infected with this virus. And it's like, you contain it by stopping the flow of traffic in and out of the country. In other words, by ship, airplane, car, all of it. But the way they're doing it, they're treating people wrong. These are human beings, not pieces of trash. Back in 1933, the Nazis, dragging the Jews out like they did, that was terrible. It almost reminded you of people being drug out in the street. Nazi thugs doing what they were doing to people, breaking windows, writing Jew on the window, and putting the Star of David on there. It's like, they're God's people, why are you doing this? We're all God's people. Why do this? Why have so much hate and violence in this world? And it's like, it's ridiculous, And I don't hate anybody, It's like, a mocha space. I don't hate anybody. I mean, you got your lives. I've got my life, you know. It's like this prince. I don't hate him. I just feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for his narcissistic, ways and all that. I'm telling you, he's got to be narcissistic just by the way he looks at people. He's got his pretty boy attitude. That's what a narcissist does. They attach to their victims, and they decide, okay, I'm going to make this person's life hell. And they do. They do it. Oh my God, do they do that. I hate to say this about my elderly mother, but I'm pretty certain she is. But that's through, her mother. It's passed down from one parent to the next. It's not, just, hey, I want to be a narcissist, It's got to be someone that done something in your life that made your life hell. To the point where, the tormentor was grooming, the narcissist from the beginning. In other words, they were training them to make another person's life hell. That's pretty much what this prince is doing, daddy's prince or whatever you call him, with his pretty boy attitude. But yeah, I'm not worried about him. But back to Wuhan, these people are just plain suffering. Give them a break. They're people. Love one another. Despite you're Hindu, whatever. I don't care. If you Buddhist, it doesn't matter. We're all people in this world. If we don't support each other, this virus is going to overcome us all. Now, here in the U.S., we can fight this virus. But other countries that are not equipped, they can't fight this virus. And most of them, they have to come through a select, few airports just to, if they want to come to the U.S., they have to go to those airports, go through the checkpoints, and then, if they've got a fever, they're quarantined, in a hospital for about, 2 to 4 weeks. They're monitored and let go. But they still monitor them. But, yeah, that's just the saddest video I've ever seen. Breaks my heart to see what people are going